Appear weak when you are strong, and strong when you are weak. A leader leads by example, not by force. All warfare is based on deception. All men can see the tactics whereby I conquer, but what none can see is the strategy out of which victory is evolved. A kingdom that has once been destroyed can never come again into being, nor can the dead ever be brought back to life. Attack is the secret of defense. Defense is the planning of an attack. Begin by seizing something which your opponent holds dear. Then he will be amenable to your will. Bravery without forethought causes a man to fight blindly and desperately like a mad bull. Be extremely subtle even to the point of formlessness. Be extremely mysterious even to the point of soundlessness. Thereby, you can be the director of the opponent's fate. Conceal your dispositions, and your condition will remain secret, which leads to victory. Show your dispositions, and your condition will become patent, which leads to defeat. Conform to the enemy's tactics until a favorable opportunity offers. Then come forth and engage in a battle that shall prove decisive. Do not interfere with an army that is returning home. Do not swallow bait offered by the enemy. Disorder came from order, fear came from courage, weakness came from strength. Excessive rewards are a sign of desperation. Excessive punishments are a sign of exhaustion. Ground on which we can only be saved from destruction by fighting without delay is desperate ground. Hence, to fight and conquer in all your battles is not supreme excellence. Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. Hence, the general is skillful in attack whose opponent does not know what to defend, and he is skillful in defense whose opponent does not know what to attack. He who is prudent and lies in wait for an enemy who is not will be victorious. He who only sees the obvious wins his battles with difficulty. He who looks below the surface of things wins with ease. He who relies solely on warlike measures shall be exterminated. He who relies solely on peaceful measures shall perish. He will win who knows when to fight and when not to fight. He will win who knows how to handle both superior and inferior forces. He will win whose army is animated by the same spirit throughout all its ranks. He will win who, prepared himself, waits to take the enemy unprepared. He will win who has military capacity and is not interfered with by the sovereign. Hold out baits to entice the enemy, feign disorder and crush him. It is the unemotional, reserved, calm, detached warrior who wins, not the hothead seeking vengeance and not the ambitious seeker of fortune. It is easy to love your friend, but sometimes the hardest lesson to learn is to love your enemy. In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. If there is disturbance in the camp, the general's authority is weak. It is best to keep one's own state intact. To crush the enemy's state is only second best. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you fight with all your might, there is a chance of life, whereas death is certain if you cling to your corner. If you will not begin with stratagem, but rely on brute strength alone, victory will no longer be assured. If, on the other hand, In the midst of difficulties, we are always ready to seize an advantage. We may extricate ourselves from misfortune. If those who are sent to draw water begin by drinking themselves, the army is suffering from thirst. If you know the enemy and know yourself, your victory will not stand in doubt. If you know heaven and know earth, you may make your victory complete. In war, practice dissimulation, and you will succeed. If you do not take opportunity to advance and reward the deserving, your subordinates will not carry out your commands, and disaster will ensue. In a similar way, the art of war pinpoints anger and greed as fundamental causes of defeat. In difficult ground, press on. In encircled ground, devise stratagems. In death ground, fight. If ignorant both of your enemy and yourself, you are certain to be in peril. It is the rule in war. If our forces are 10 to the enemy's 1 to surround him, if 5 to 1 to attack him, if twice as numerous to divide our army into 2. Know your enemy and know yourself, and you can fight 100 battles without disaster. Knowing the enemy enables you to take the offensive. Knowing yourself enables you to stand on the defensive. Let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night, and when you move, fall like a thunderbolt. Move swift as the wind and closely formed as the wood. Attack like the fire and be still as the mountain. Move not unless you see an advantage. Use not your troops unless there is something to be gained. Fight not unless the position is critical. Mystify, mislead, and surprise the enemy. Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake. No ruler should put troops into the field merely to gratify his own spleen. No general should fight a battle simply out of pique. One may know how to conquer without being able to do it. One may know the condition of a whole army from the behavior of a single man. Plan for what it is difficult while it is easy. Do what is great while it is small. Ponder and deliberate before you make a move. Rewards for good service should not be deferred a single day. Rouse him and learn the principle of his activity or inactivity. Force him to reveal himself so as to find out his vulnerable spots. Success in warfare is gained by carefully accommodating ourselves to the enemy's purpose. Some people think insufficiency means weakness and surplus means strength, but this impression is wrong. So long as victory can be attained, stupid haste is preferable to clever dilatoriness. The rising of birds in their flight is the sign of an ambuscade. Startled beasts indicate that a sudden attack is coming. Through you we learn to be invisible, through you inaudible, and hence we can hold the enemy's fate in our hands. The art of war is of vital importance to the state. The worst calamities that befall an army arise from hesitation. The opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. Therefore, the skillful leader subdues the enemy's troops without any fighting. He captures their cities without laying siege to them. Thus, the expert in battle moves the enemy and is not moved by him. Therefore, just as water retains no constant shape, so in warfare there are no constant conditions. The captured soldier should be kindly treated and kept. The good fighters of old first put themselves beyond the possibility of defeat. and then waited for an opportunity of defeating the enemy. The whole secret lies in confusing the enemy so that he cannot fathom our real intent. Therefore, the clever combatant imposes his will on the enemy, but does not allow the enemy's will to be imposed on him. The enlightened ruler is attentive, and the good general is full of caution. The principle on which to manage an army is to set up one standard of courage which all must reach. Thus, though we have heard of stupid haste in war, cleverness has never been seen associated with long delays. Those skilled at making the enemy move do so by creating a situation to which he must conform. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. The wise warrior avoids the battle. Treat your men as you would your own beloved sons, and they will follow you into the deepest valley. The greatest victory is that which requires no battle. Thus, what enables the wise sovereign and the good general to strike and conquer and achieve things beyond the reach of ordinary men is foreknowledge. There is no instance of a nation benefiting from prolonged warfare. The art of war is of vital importance to the state. It is a matter of life and death, a road either to safety or to ruin. To win 100 victories in 100 battles is not the acme of skill. To subdue the enemy without fighting is the acme of skill. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. Water shapes its course according to the nature of the ground over which it flows. The soldier works out his victory in relation to the foe whom he is facing. We cannot enter into alliances until we are acquainted with the designs of our neighbors. We are not fit to lead an army on the march unless we are familiar with the face of the country, its mountains and forests, its pitfalls and precipices, its marshes and swamps. When the outlook is bright, bring it before their eyes, but tell them nothing when the situation is gloomy. What the ancients called a clever fighter is one who not only wins, but excels in winning with ease. When the common soldiers are too strong and their officers too weak, the result is insubordination. Who wishes to fight must first count the cost. Who does not know the evils of war cannot appreciate its benefits. When the enemy is relaxed, make them toil. When full, starve them. When settled, make them move. When you surround an army, leave an outlet free. Do not press a desperate foe too hard. When your army has crossed the border, you should burn your boats and bridges in order to make it clear to everybody that you have no hankering after home. Who wants to fight must first know the cost. Whether in an advantageous position or a disadvantageous one, the opposite state should be always present to your mind. You can be sure of succeeding in your attacks if you only attack places which are undefended. You can ensure the safety of your defense if you only hold positions that cannot be attacked. Which quote did you like the most? Share your opinion in the comments. One day, you will regret that you did not hear these quotes earlier. Do not lose the opportunity. Watch our next video and subscribe.